Hey, welcome to Late Night with Larry. We're doing it once again. I'm here with my co-host, Vince. Vince, give me a shout out.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. We are back in the Larry D studios. Last time we talked to you, we were out on location.
That's right. And so we're going to pick it up today. And we're going to go back to, we were recently in the Jemez Mountains. And we're going to start it off with that. But before we do anything, we still want you to hit that subscribe button. And we still want you to email us. And you can do that at latenightwithlarry55@gmail.com, and we still are in the process of changing over to Cryptid Crossroads 505, and you can even email us there at cryptidcrossroads505
Right.
at gmail.com.
And don't forget to tap that app.
That's right.
And we're going to start off with a little bit of
Our tradition,
our liquid courage.
Our liquid courage. This is how we get the courage to go squatching. So,
and we could have used some of this last week.
all right. Anyway, here's to y'all.
Thanks for being here. Pretty good.
Good stuff there, Maynard.
Tastes just like Grandpa's medicine he's to keep in the shed.
That's right. Oh, is that what that was? So anyway, we're going to pick up last weekend. We were in the Jemez Mountains, and we're just out there, and some interesting things happened to us. We took our older brother with us, and he got to enjoy some of the activity that we enjoy.
Right. He was lucky because that was his first visit, and he got he got the bonus deal.
He did. I mean, for his first visit, he got to witness some UAP activity, UFO, whatever you want to call it. And we'll start off with that. So we usually see things in the sky up there because it's so dark and you see all the stars. And this isn't the first time I've seen strange aerial phenomenon just going in different directions. But this night we were there, and it happened that, we're outside just enjoying Mother Nature, waiting for squatches to come around. And we look up in the sky, and here's this. At first I thought it was a plane, but it was moving too fast. It didn't have a beacon. It wasn't bleeping, and it was bright. But what set it off is we were all looking at it, and this craft like zigzagged, and you could see it plain as day, and there's no way our conventional craft could do that.
No way. Not at that rate of speed. And
No.
But just to let you know, we were talking about this on our last podcast. We're just revisiting it and hopefully fill you in on the whole story.
That's right.
But anyway, that craft was like he said, it was a bright light, no beacon. And that's what set it apart, because most planes, even military planes, they'll have a flashing beacon.
Or even no matter how high the plane is, you at least hear some of unless it's super high, you hear some of the jet engines.
Right.
You hear it traveling through the air. And I don't think this craft was that high. If it was a jet, we should have heard it.
Right. And there was no noise, absolutely no noise.
No, and our older brother got to saw it, and we told him, well, what do you think about that? And it piqued his interest right away, because, we tell people we see things, and a lot of people, they take it for what it is. But it was an eventful night.
Yeah. Now our brother, he was on a much earlier podcast, and he's had some UAP experiences.
Yeah.
So he was convinced this was a UAP, and that wasn't the only one. There was several lights out there moving pretty fast.
Yes, that wasn't the only light we saw, and once we saw these lights, we could have swore we saw jet fighters flying in the area.
Right. It looked like right up where we were looking, where we saw most of the activity. It looked like on the edges, like the jets were coming, they were flanking them. Now, bear in mind that there's an Air Force base close by.
Right.
Now, you could tell these were military jets. They were moving pretty quick. They had beacons, but they could not keep up with these UAPs.
Not at all.
And it was just strange. It looked like they were flanking the area where the activity is, and these other ones were flying, and the one on the, I guess that you would say would be the north side.
Right.
He kept going, and he kind of got out of sight where the trees were.
Right.
And then these UAPs were just zooming around doing what they do. And we saw something weird that I don't know if it was just coincidence.
I don't know.
Right where that jet was, we saw a flash in the sky, and then what people describe as a shooting star, but actually you could see this burning. This was debris coming back into the atmosphere.
It was interesting. It was an eventful night, and I don't know what to say about that. And we're gonna have to say it was a UAP because we just don't know what it was, but it was cool that our other brother got to experience it with us, and I'll let you lead off on the next interesting thing that happened to us.
Right. So after we stood out there, we were freezing. It was pretty cold out there. So just so you know, the sacrifices we make for you.
That's right.
And that's why a lot of these skeptics, they don't want to set foot out there because of the elements. It was cold that night. I mean, it's 100 degrees here in Albuquerque?
Yeah, when we left town, it was definitely 100 degrees. But when we got up there, it was mild. But when the sun went down,
yeah, I'm
man,
talking
it got cold.
You need a thick jacket.
It definitely. And people would think, oh, I'm not going to take a jacket because it's so hot.
Big mistake.
Big think twice. Yeah.
We were kind of giving our brother tips. It's going to be cold. Take a jacket. So he took a warm jacket, but guess these two numbskulls forgot a jacket.
And I froze my ass.
Yeah.
Thank God my other brother had a jacket because I would have been inside the truck rocking back and forth. It's cold.
But anyway, we sat out there and we witnessed a lot of stuff that we just described, and it was just mind blowing. We're like looking at each other. Can you see that? Are you seeing this?
Right. It
and
was.
there was more than one because I seen several, and we decided to sit in the truck where it was warm, and we said we'll do a podcast. My brother had his mobile podcast unit, and we'll talk about the lights in the sky that we've been seeing. Right. So we sat in the truck. We're totally dark. We can't have campfires up there, so all we had was a lantern. Right. That was shut off, and that was put down to cool. So we sat in to do our podcast, and probably, I don't know, halfway through, maybe 10, 15 minutes into it.
I'd say, yeah, about halfway through.
We're sitting there talking away, discussing what we saw, and there was just a tap. And it was more.
It was more. It wasn't a tap.
It was a big tap, and the truck shook, like something hit it. And we even stopped the podcast. We're like, whoa! Did you feel that? Did you hear that?
Right.
Because you could hear it and feel it. So we asked. I don't know. I guess I was talking to him off camera, and he thought maybe he was imagining it. I thought maybe I was imagining it because we kept asking each other, "Did you hear it? Did you feel it?"
Right. It was. I was kind of like a little in shock. I was like, "Did what just happened happen?"
Yeah. So we sat there and we didn't get out immediately because we're like, "Did that really happen?" So what I did, I was pressing the brakes for the truck, so see if I could see anything behind us.
Right.
And I couldn't see anything behind us. So we got out. Finally, we got out of the truck and we looked around. We couldn't see nothing around. Now, again, that's us being unprepared. We did not film any of the UAPs.
Right.
We did not document anything on this when the truck moved, other than the podcast. But I don't think the mic would pick that up.
No, and I'm gonna have to start taking my GoPro out there with us. It'll zoom, but it won't do deep zoom, but at least we may be able to capture some of the activity we see and share it with you.
And where we were, you really wouldn't have to zoom if you just caught.
No, I know it's just, and I could do the wide angle so that we could pick up most of the sky, and it was. I always kick myself in the ass. I'm like,
yeah,
man, I forgot it.
We've been buying new equipment and stuff, and here we were unprepared. We had our cell phones. We had my scope, the infrared, which we could have used because it takes picture and video.
Right.
But anyway, when we finally got out of the pickup, when something touched it, we all agreed we heard and felt something, so we got out. And we're looking around. We didn't see nothing, so we started looking at the truck, and in the rear left corner of the bed, there was a handprint. Now, the truck had been washed, totally, washed inside and out prior to this. But going out there, it's so dusty. The truck was coated in dust. That's why this handprint was so visible.
Right.
Now, it wasn't a full handprint. It was just, I would say, from the middle finger down, maybe.
It's if you ever ran your hand across a truck when it's dusty, that's what it looked like.
Okay, but it looked like a hand had just touched it. Now, we looked at the print. I put my hand next to it for comparison, and I got average hands. They're not huge, but the print was a good 4 inches longer,
Right.
at least, than where my fingers extend.
It was, and that was an eventful night. And when we got out of the truck finally, and he's saying he hit the lights, I think it was us building up the courage to get out because, of course, there's a campfire restrictions. We have no fire going. We turned out the lantern, so we're in pitch dark.
Yeah.
And once we got out of the truck and took a look at what touched the truck, possibly, I was shocked. I was telling my brother, I keep thinking all week, did I really feel the truck move?
Right. And on the way down the mountain, after we finally did leave, he was sitting in the front seat, so we were jabbering away. And I asked my brother in the back, I said, "Hey, are you awake?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm awake." He said, "I was just thinking about how thick those fingers were on the print."
Right. It was, let's just say it was eventful. And I am just glad our older brother went with us because, just like you people listening, he hears our podcast, he listens, and people kind of wonder, is this real? If you haven't had an experience for yourself, you're going to always question someone else's experience.
Right.
And you're going to wonder, is it real or are they making this up? But I could tell you, if you have one of these experiences, you'll believe.
Yeah, you'd be amazed at how much it opens your mind to other things also.
It does.
Because if you have it don't matter if it's UAP, Bigfoot, paranormal,
Yeah.
you have one of these experiences and you're thinking, well, I know what I experienced, so if this is possible, who knows what else, So that's why you start to listen to others with an open mind.
And my thing is, who could run by the truck, leave a big handprint like that, and
Vanish. When we're the only ones out there, and we're miles back on a forest road.
We are
up in the mountains.
And for that to happen, it makes you really do a deep dive into your thoughts, and you're wondering, well, did I really experience this? Did it really happen? It puts you in shock when it first happens. You're like, what the hell was that? That the adrenaline will pop up a little bit, the fear factor will pop up, because there's no one out there.
Right.
And who did this?
Right. Now, we've been going out there for several years, and we've always had some kind of experience. Rarely do we ever go and nothing happens.
Right.
We're not saying it's all Sasquatch or UFO, but something happens, just makes you think.
Well, let's just say we have never had a close experience like this.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. This is, if it was truly what we think it was, going by just what's in our mind and the print we found on the truck, that is the closest they've ever come.
It sure shocked me. It startled me.
Now, I told somebody I know, and I told them the story, and they know the background, how we go up there and do what we do. And this person's response was, well, maybe they're getting used to you guys. That's why they're coming in closer.
If they are, I want them to come in a little closer and stay a little longer so we could take some good pictures.
Right.
Maybe we could get a picture with one of them, buddies. Hey.
Yeah, and like a meet and greet.
That's right. Well, I doubt that'll ever happen, but...
Yeah, but that was pretty intense. Usually when we go out there and we hear screams or when the bottle is thrown at us or whatever, I mean, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And but this experience, everything just happened so quick, boom, 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 in a short period of time. Huh?
It was
the UAPs, then that.
It was one of those crazy nights. That's all I could say. It was a crazy night for us. So many things happened. And it, like my brother said, it was in quick succession. the UAP, we get in, we start podcasting, then the bump on the truck, and we go out and it's a handprint. And it was just
Right.
kind of overwhelming.
But like I was saying, we've had other experiences where we're like, cool. We go home and we're looking forward to the next encounter. Right. This is one of those trips where I was thinking about it all week.
You and me both. All I kept thinking about is, did we really see that? Did that really happen? And here's the beautiful thing. I was hoping my brother could hear one scream. He got even better than that because he was in the back seat.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was cool what he experienced, but he needs to hear one scream.
He does.
I told him the story about when you heard the one scream about 3, 4 in the morning and
Right.
you almost talked yourself into going home.
It is scary because you wonder what is up in these mountains that could hold a loud, deep scream like that. And I say scream, but I don't know what to call it, but other than a scream, but it sustains, and you know it's in a distance, but yet it's loud enough for you to hear it. And
Right.
and you're thinking, if that was even 200 feet away from me, that'd be a terrifying scream. I would probably definitely get in the truck and leave. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm out of here.
Right. But anyway, I told our older brother that story, and he believes us, but he thought that was kind of funny. That's why I wanted him to hear us scream.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on that first night I heard my encounter, I heard the screams from like 20 yards away.
And I could see why you were all shook up now. I mean, if I were to hear one of those close like you did, it would shake me up. I'm not going to lie. It would shake me up deeply.
That's why when I told you I called you, I never wanted to go back to the forest again.
And I get it. But, my thing is, we know they're up there. A lot of people will deny that they're up there, but I know they're up there. And
And
I want a closer, well, we had a close, I can't say encounter now. We had an experience, but I would love to get my straight line visual to see it right in the open.
now, if it was truly what we think it is, and and it's true what somebody said, that they're just getting used to us, and they're starting to come in closer. Maybe from here on out, our trips will be a lot better. We'll have a lot more to report, and hopefully some good evidence. And we're getting all the right equipment. We just got to remember to use it.
Right. I think it'd be nice. Now, I don't think my GoPro does good in the dark, but I'm really thinking after this, I'm thinking I got to have something that can record in the dark, and, so that we could maybe put on the back of the truck and it'll capture at least a good 90-degree angle. And so that if anything comes in, we'll be able to catch it.
Right. Now, I heard somebody say one of the best ways to catch Bigfoot footage is to mount it on your truck. They said a lot of times you'll pull into a spot in the dark and you won't even see them, but the cameras will pick them up.
Right.
Or else, if you're out there, like we do, we sit by the campfire.
Right.
They see we're holding something, and if they think it's a camera, or they might not know it's a camera, they might just think it's something to hurt them.
Right.
That's why they keep their distance. But if it's mounted to the truck, like a piece of the truck, they probably won't give it a second thought.
Well, and if you look at 90% of these videos that people have captured them through video recordings, they didn't even know they were there. They found it after they were home reviewing the video, and they happen to see something out of the ordinary, and they take a closer look, and they're like, oh my God, we didn't even see that there.
Right. Yeah, there's family vacations from 20 years ago. They look at again, and
Right.
they find that.
Yes.
Now, there's always the thing, people say, well, how come we don't have more Bigfoot footage or UAP footage and blah, blah. But, I've always thought, if I see a Sasquatch, first thing I'm picking up is my phone.
That's what you would think you would do.
But when like I said, this happened all pretty quick. Boom, boom, boom. And picking up a piece of equipment or my phone to record it was the last thing on my mind until we left.
Look, we even built up the courage to get out after a few minutes, and we saw the print, but did one of us think about getting the phone? No. We all had a phone on us, but not one of us said, hold on, let me take a picture of this. we're all like, whoa, look at that. What is that?
Right. We all had our phones. We have a big spotlight. We have an infrared scope.
Right.
We have a night vision monocle or whatever you call them.
Yep.
But did we think about breaking any of them out?
No. And I don't care who you are. If you experience this and you're not already filming, that's the last thing on your mind. Because like I said, the fear factor sets in, the adrenaline starts rushing, and you're not worried about your phone. You're kind of looking around in the dark like, oh, is it still here? Where'd it go?
Right. But to be kind of to balance things out, I guess another argument, when we are there and we could start a fire, we open the tailgate to the truck and we have our equipment ready there.
Yeah.
At least, if we see it, we'll think about, okay, I want to pick this up and try to record something.
It is. And for those of you, I know there may be some people listening, but for those of you that have never been up in the mountains in just darkness, without lights, without fires, that's one of the last things on your mind. Your flight or fight instinct really kicks in.
Right.
You start to you're not settled at all. You're on edge, like what's out there.
And when something hit the truck, I think all of our flight instinct almost kicked in because it took us a minute to get out.
I think it did, and that's while we all looked at each other like, did you hear that? Did you feel that? Did you? That was the first thing. So of course, that's when the adrenaline starts to pump and the fear. Should we get out of here? What was that? But it was an experience, and I'm glad it happened.
Yeah,
I could tell 1 million people, and only maybe 2 will believe me.
Right. Well, maybe more will believe because actually. People know what we do now. People are starting to know. That's why I've told you this. When people at work have something weird, they always come to me. Hey, can I talk to you? I want to tell you something, because they know I'll listen and I won't ridicule them.
Right. And I was talking to my son about UAPs, UFOs, and I sent him it was something on TikTok about a UFO that penetrated a military base, and they're shooting at it, and they couldn't touch it. This thing, it just zooming in and out. That lets us know our technology is nothing compared to theirs. And he told me, you know what, Dad? It seems like UFOs, UAPs, that the sightings are becoming more and more occurring on a regular basis. I said, it seems that way because now everyone's seen them. And
now, is it more and more, or is it more people speaking out and there's more technology to catch it? Because everyone has a camera.
Right. I think it's a little bit of both. People are starting to accept it. They're starting to realize that there is something up there. And if you look close, you'll see it. We got groups of people now that even contact them, supposedly. It's out there, it's happening, and it's becoming more frequent.
Now, I got a question for you. Something that I don't know if you noticed, but I've noticed, because I like to watch a lot of documentaries about UFOs, UAPs.
Right.
And back in the day, going back to, say, the Roswell crash, and there was other, instances from back then, where they take pictures.
Right.
Now, as our technology advances, just by the pictures I've seen of so-called UFOs or UAPs, their technology has advanced. Because look at the debris in the Roswell crash as compared to some of the pictures of UAPs today.
Well, here's the thing. How can we advance and expect them to stay stagnant?
Right.
I would think that they would be advancing at a more rapid rate than we are.
But, okay, example, there was a guy, I forget where, 40s, 50s, he took a picture of one. I saw it on, there's a show called Paranormal Fact or Fake.
Right.
And anyway, they're trying to recreate what he pictured.
Right.
Now, this looks like your classic 1950s UFO, it looked like windows all the way around, and that's what it looked like. Now, I understand their technology's advancing, but could it be that those were primitive craft compared to what we see now?
Right.
Could it be that there truly are these wormholes that they come through to allow them to come with their basic technology?
I'm going to say the wormhole theory is It's out there because even our own scientists hold it as a theory. Albert Einstein held it as a theory. And a matter of fact, Albert Einstein even proved it. If you
Right.
look at his research, he proved that light does bend. And therefore, he said, so if light could bend, you could bend space. And his theory about how space does bend, and they use the Earth and the planets as example, as they rotate, they're bending in space. So I'm thinking his theory is not that far off.
Okay, now listen to the rest of my theory here and tell me if you kind of agree with it or I'm way off. But like I said, these craft, even going back to the Roswell crash, are very primitive compared to what we see now in the skies.
Right.
Or what is depicted as a UAP, right? Because now they go underwater and stuff. Now, could it be that they tap this wormhole stuff and their technology wasn't as far advanced ahead of ours as we thought, because they could come through the wormhole. They figured that out. But back in the day, we had UFOs crashing.
Right.
You don't have that today.
No, we don't.
And now we have some good technology. There's still ahead of us, but could it be that they're not as far ahead of us as what we think? They just figured out a few things with quantum physics that we have not.
Well, I think that is a good theory, and it's okay. We got the Mars rover. I think that's kind of like some of the things they sent their initial craft here, and they're saying, "Oh wow, we now have the technology to make it." Of course, they're going to improve on it. Look at what we're doing with satellites. If you look at the first satellite we launched compared to the satellites
Right.
we have today, and I'm talking telescopic satellites. The first one we sent out has died. It's floating around in space, but it was an ugly piece of equipment compared to how we've streamlined it today and the technology that we've added today. So, and that's why I'm saying if we could do that, I would expect them to do that
Right.
on a higher level. Now, when I was in business school, we talked about technology and how there's a law for it, and I forgot whose name, but it was this professor that said every 18 months, technology doubles. And they revised that. It's now like every 6 months, technology can double because we're moving at faster and faster rates.
Right.
So if you look at the laptop that first came out in the late 80s, look at a laptop in the 90s, look at today's laptops. Today's laptops are more powerful than the supercomputer they had in the 50s.
Right. And just a good example, my first cell phone was one of those suitcase ones. Mm-hmm. You know, and now they shrunk them down, but now they've gotten bigger.
Right. Let's look at the phone. That's a good example of.
Now, do you believe that's alien technology reverse engineered?
I think it is because I don't think we were smart enough to make those leaps and bounds on our own. And the reason I say that is because we've had scientists like Galileo who made great discoveries, Isaac Newton. We've had these great mathematicians throughout history and these great inventors and scientists. Why didn't we do it then?
Right.
Right? In the early 1900s, we had Nikola Tesla, who, people called him a crackpot or whatnot, but he was a genius. He had some of the best ideas, but he did say that he heard voices and they talked to him from space.
Right. He said it was channeled through.
Right. It was channeled. But my thing is, we've made leaps and bounds since the Roswell crash. And is that coincidence?
Right. Right. Look at up until then, we had the steam engine. We invented the internal combustion engine, and things were moving along. I guess now it looks like a snail's pace, but they're normal pace.
Right.
To now where, I don't know, just these computers control everything.
Well, and it's like I just recently bought a new laptop, and my wife, she said, "Well, what does the wireless card matter?" I'm like, if I buy an 802.11, that's obsolete. I'm gonna, even though my speed is gigabyte at home, I'm gonna pick up maybe 100 at the most. as to where I said I want a Wi-Fi 6 card. That's going to give me the gigabyte speed. So that's what I'm talking about, leaps and bounds in just a matter of years. And this is just Wi-Fi connectivity.
Right.
Imagine what the military budget with billions of dollars could do.
Right. Now, I was talking about this with my brother-in-law. We were talking, I think it was who I was talking with, but we're talking about like the stealth bomber that was like 20 years old before they brought it out to the public.
Of course.
Right, because they didn't bring it out to like the Gulf War area.
No, and now we're saying that that's obsolete. We got some better aircraft. If you look at the Navy ship I was on, a DDG-3, it was a guided missile destroyer. It was a little tin can. Look at these destroyers that they're getting ready to build and release.
Well, I was going to say they look nothing like the traditional destroyer.
These things are like hot rod speedboats,
Right.
that are capable of blowing little countries up.
Right, right. And maybe that's what we need to do.
Maybe. Meet my little friend.
Well, I was going to say all this technology, and I still have a word processor at home, and my kids can't explain to me why I can't get internet on that. That's why my bills never get paid on time.
No, but I want you people listening, think about that. Think about how much technology has moved. Now, I look at my grandkids who I bought them all tablets, and they have tablets, and I watch how they maneuver around the tablet to watch their kid YouTube videos, and I'm amazed at how fast they pick it up. Now, I may not see it, but I'm wondering, when this kid is 50 years old, my age, I'm not supposed to give my age away, but when
What the hell? You're old.
when this kid is my age, what kind of technology is he gonna see?
Right.
You know, we may already be flying with the aliens and cruising alongside them, and they may be saying, "Well, you need to soup it up." We'll be in the sky with our little gremlins, and they'll be with their Corvettes.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it's coming. The day's coming, people.
Well, it's not what they'll see. I'll see it too, because I already got a chip. You know, when I die, they'll load my consciousness in another body.
Well, I just want them to see if they could clone me, and I don't want all my thoughts and everything in the new body.
Well, I asked them if they could like just save my head, you know, like in the jar,
Right.
keep it alive, so I could just, when people come look at me, scare them. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, but anyway, these are things we wanted to share with you tonight. Our experience, this recent experience, was just great.
This one was pretty mind blowing.
It was.
You know, we told you the story, but that don't do justice to being there.
Does not, and it happened the night just happened so fast. It's like we were on fast forward that whole night. It was crazy. The night was crazy. The experience was crazy. Like I said, I'm just glad our older brother was there to experience it.
Now, let me tell you how crazy it really was. We took a few beers and we stopped drinking them.
We didn't even, and that's for us. Come on, forget about it.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
That's how intense it was.
It was an intense night, but that's what we wanted to share with y'all tonight.
And
Thank you for listening.
And if any of you guys had anything like this happen to you, let us know.
That's right.
We'd like to hear about it. We'll tell your story. We'll bring you on if you want to tell your own story. That'd be great.
That's right. And you got the email. Reach out to us. I will check it as soon as I am done.
Right. Now, there's somebody else. There's a couple of guests we still need to get on.
Yeah, there is.
We're still working on that. It's just,
Yeah.
this is a crazy time. We're crazy busy. So
Yeah, I am crazy busy at work right now.
I just got off vacation. So he's busy.
Same, and I'm about ready to go on vacation. So, but reach out to us. Tell us your story. We want to hear it. Thanks for listening.
Peace.